Hi. I'm writing with, vlogging with a quick little update. I am dog sitting at my brother's house, where there's also a professional grade recording studio with a Steinway baby grand piano. So, that's my week ahead. I'm in Corcoran, Minnesota. And it's beautiful here. I'm trying to become what I say I've always wanted to be. I'm trying to become a compassionate creator who sees the whole system as important, and not just one team, one side, one viewpoint, one approach, whether that's rich or poor, whether that's unknown or famous, whether that is fast moving or slow, successful or constantly failing, or never even trying, which is a form of failure. Failure not being a bad word, failure being a beautiful thing. As my boyfriend's dad, Pat, puts it. And that's like how Thomas Edison, that's how things get invented. That's how things come to be. We fail and fail and fail and fail and fail and fail and fail. And then we land on something. Failure is a beautiful thing, not a dirty word, nothing to be avoided, and certainly nothing to be ashamed of. If you're failing, that means you're trying. If you're failing, that means you're curious. If you're failing, that means you're alive, you're living. The easiest way to never fail is to never try. That's a Homer Simpson quote. Hang on, let me remember it. It's funnier if you say it right. You know what they say. If you try... Well, you tried and you failed. And what did that teach you? Never try. Which is obviously a joke. I mean, yeah, it's what so many people do. It's what I did in all my early years of my life. So, that's why this YouTube channel exists. This is me changing my mind about that. This is me saying, well, I get to be a person who didn't put on any makeup today, who didn't even chew that bite of apple well enough. You get to just be a person and try things. And as you try things and you see what you love to do, you might end up kind of preachy like me. But I think my preachiness is balanced by my constant vulnerability and obvious not knowing. I was going to say my obvious I don't know, and then I put that in quotes, but then I said not knowing, and I don't mean not knowing in quotes. I mean my obvious I don't know in quotes, as in my life is a giant I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm trying. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if you're right. I don't know a lot of things. And so I hope that is balanced whenever I get really preachy, which I think the world actually wants and needs. I'm just uncomfortable with being preachy because some people have told me they don't like it. I put on eyebrow stuff today. Nothing else. I have little scars from places I've broken out. And it just always looks weird to me. But being alive is a scar. The whole thing is a wound. You can't avoid the wound. Life is a wound. If we are following Jesus, it doesn't matter what you believe. What I mean is, well, I'll stay with what I believe. I believe in the life of Jesus as a path, as hope, as something other than just we live and we die and then we're nothing. Jesus, as far as I understand it, God is too big for our understanding. Jesus is like, no, this is too big a topic to do in my brother's driveway. But what I'm trying to say is, if Jesus said, not be like me, we're not able to live at that level. I mean, I have done what feel like exorcisms through prayer and visions and having visions. And I would say, I get chills just remembering that time. I remember how dark it felt, feeling and sensing other people's having attracted dark energy. It's no one else. The person that I was like feeling that for and like pulling darkness off of in my mind, in these visions, I was literally pulling with all of my strength darkness off of people that felt like a cloud of smoke mixed with, and not like light in the dark like the Tao Te Ching, not like emptiness and fullness, not like that, like darkness as in like evil, as in like demons or something, like dark, gross, scary stuff. Like a horror movie, like a ghost story, like the stuff I don't watch because my mind is already too affected. Anyway, I've done that like 5 times or 50 times at most, somewhere in there, and I feel like I've been let off the hook from that kind of spiritual pressure because it would like rob me of all my energy that day. It's insane. Helping people is way overrated. Like, if you're somebody who thinks you're going to change the world or save the world, I will tell you I was possessed with and haunted by that same type of dream when I was younger. Like, my songs are going to save the world. My this is going to save the world. My that is going to save the world. It's arrogance. It's narcissism. It's a belief that, like, Sufjan Stevens writes about it in the Ascension album, and it's towards the end of the album, and it's mind-bending that he admits his own selfishness. I think he uses the word arrogance. Maybe he doesn't. But I relate. And then there's this weird belief that possesses us that we are going to go into the world and somehow save it, like save the world. You are one piece. You're a tiny cog in an unending wheel, and you might save one thing, but while you're saving that one thing, you might be making 10 things worse. You don't know. I don't know. We are all... Right now, I need to make that me. I might be making 10 things worse by making these videos. I may be saving one person and hurting 10. I don't know, and I don't get to know. But I do these because I feel led and called. But sometimes that's not what I do. I don't know. This is a weird habit. And writing songs and getting really self-serious and making really polished, perfect-sounding albums and marketing them, like going to LA, like other big dreams I have. I don't want to knock those. I think that the idea of getting music that I worked 20 years to gain the skills for, and then you put tons of work and talent and time into a recording and money, and then you want to go to LA and you want to like pitch it to people, just like this documentary I saw of Tom Petty. You know, you want to pitch it. But like if you watch the Tom Petty documentary, you will see that the majority of the time doesn't look fun. Not at all. Like there's a part in the Bible that says like someone was saying, do we get to be at the right hand of Jesus when we die? Like, is it Peter? One of them was asking Jesus if they were, essentially like asking if they're the favorite or the most helpful or most useful, which is what I'm always kind of hoping to be. Like so important or so whatever. And it's arrogance. You can have spiritual arrogance. I think it's like the devil. It can get in there on anything, even the best people. Mother Teresa, Gandhi. I know my nun grandma was trying to protect like a crack in her heart, because there's probably cravings for comfort and other things that are not good for us, that the harder life gets, especially as we're getting older, the more difficult those things are. So I took way too many tangents just there. Hold on. Well, don't hold that. I mean, you do you. You can do whatever you want. But I have had spiritual pride, and I am trying to get over that. I have had arrogance about my way, my path, and I'm trying to get over that. I'm trying to see value in other people's values, you know? And I don't have to live them, especially if I don't know how to. Like, that's the pressure I've put on myself, is like, if I needed to be right, that my way of living was right, which was to look into the past, to heal the wounds, to write songs, to be creative, to be like all my heroes when I was young, like the poets and the dreamers and the writers and the creators who believed in the content being real rather than on like the showiness and the externals, who believed in the internals being real. That's what my heroes were doing. And they were so rare. I could see them. There was like 1% or less. It's like the opposite kind of 1%. Like there's the 1% with the money 1%, but I had like an arrogance around a spiritual or a artistic 1% of people who are actually doing good work, authenticity. And I've had all these arrogances around that, and I would see it in other people, and I would always be seeking the most beautiful and the most authentic, and I still believe in that deeply. But as you chase those things, you might miss out on even an ability to do other things with your life. You might become a very narrow thing. So I have to then see myself as like part of a system. I love the way I chase beauty, the way I find musicians and people and artists who just resonate with a purity. It's like a wholesomeness. It's beautiful. They're some of my favorite people on the planet. And they're not in my family. They're friends or they're kindred spirits. But I hope that they too are part of systems where they are cared for. And they're probably the only one like them in those systems. I feel like the only one like me in my system. But I'm trying to learn how to stop being so full of myself around that and stop thinking that that's the only way to be. Like, no, there are other ways to be. I became very non-competitive, except everything I just said is like a weird silent competition. It's almost just like I wanted acknowledgement for this inner world to have value rather than just how slick and polished are you. I've wanted my whole life, I've wanted acknowledgement from like-minded souls of how beautiful, unaltered and unedited, uncut silk, raw wood, it's verse or chapter 19 of the Tao Te Ching. That's the one that lives with me the most. You don't have to create things. You don't have to go to LA. You don't have to do the Tom Petty sad, depressing path. You don't have to do all that. It's beautiful as it is. It's like a dream. It's like a poem. It's like a dream. It's just floating in time. YouTube has encapsulated my life. It has encapsulated my inner life. And Bandcamp has too, because I put up like 12 very rough albums during the 12 albums in 12 months in 2018. And there are so many artists and poets all over the world who are similar to this, and they're not famous. You'll never hear of them. They will fade away. Just like those Buddhist monks that make those beautiful, all that artwork out of sand. And then when they're done, the second they're done, they make it all day long. These beautiful like patterns, and they're balanced. They look perfect. And I would want to take a picture. The second they're done, no picture. The second they're done, they sweep it away. That's what all of us artists are, but I'm preserving myself out of some weird blind ambition to help you know that it's okay to be unknown, except I'm becoming known for telling you that it's okay to be unknown. So I'm ironic and or hypocritical, so it's all just maybe that's the danger of words, like they warn about in the Tao Te Ching. Oh, back to the Jesus story. So then these disciples were saying, and there's 12 disciples, my lucky number, but Jesus was saying when they wanted to be at Jesus' right hand, this is a grotesque, or not grotesque, just like a very strong paraphrase, but Jesus basically said to them, like, you don't know what you're asking for. My message to all of you, if you want fame, if you want attention, my message to you is you don't know what you're asking for. I didn't know what I was asking for before I went down this path, but I think my soul was asking for it. I resonated with Sesame Street, with Mr. Rogers, with Bob Ross when I got older, with Joanna Newsom. I resonated with famous people, and for a long time I thought that was just because I didn't know any of the unfamous people who were talented. But that is kind of true, because some of my artist friends, like Ryan Wyrick, or I could list some songwriters you've never heard of who inspire me. The reason they inspire me just as deeply, if not more, is because I know them. So fame is just a way for more people to know you. Like, fame isn't an end. There's no end. Why would there be an end? The end is death. Fame is not a goal to reach. It's just more people watching you. What does that do for you? What does that do for you? Does a number on a video how many hundreds of thousands or how many millions are watching this. Like, does that do something for you? For your ego or for your soul? For me, that would be pressure. I know how many people watched my weather patterns in your mind video that I just uploaded. I think it's like 10. And then I can sit and imagine which people I know probably watched it. And back when I did early YouTube, I had like 1,000 views. And I remember that not feeling like a very big deal to me. And now in hindsight, it's like, wait, 1,000 people watched that? That's a lot of people. Have you ever just gone in an auditorium and sung a song for 1,000 people? Have you? Have you? I have. And I play piano for probably 3,000 people at any one time, but that might be the max. But playing piano and singing, maybe not. Maybe 300, 400 probably. So if I had 400, one of my videos, the one that I put up on the main front page of this page as of right now, history lesson, I think has 890 views. And it was up 3 years ago. 890 people have watched that. Can I fathom that? Or does that just look low to me for YouTube? It looks very low to me for YouTube. But can I fathom it? 890 people took the time to watch that. You probably can't fathom it. People can't. Fame is a changing game in this culture, and I think that's why a lot of influencers are burning out. They put themselves out there, they do something, then they realize they don't want that kind of pressure. I was going to say that kind of attention, but they do probably want the attention. The attention's the dopamine, but the fame is the pressure. So, this video, my guess is it'll get about 5 views max. And that's cool. So I don't know which 5 of you are watching this one. I think what I used to do is I had such intensity that I used to stop my flow because I thought I needed to curate and craft one thing and then share it, because otherwise I shared so much that I lost fans and followers. But I'm to the point where I'm not going to change myself for you. This much is what I do. And it feels right to do this much. It feels like we live in a world that has all these curated podcasts that go on for 10 billion hours. And, you know, why can't the uncut wood and the raw silk do it too? So, you don't have to imitate me if this is soothing just to watch someone talk like this. Feel free. I don't know. I bring up a lot of topics. I don't really resolve them. It feels comfortable to me. Anyway, I'm going to go to the store now. Bye!